right, guys. Now we have come to the next part of the show, which is the pursuit of success. And we have on the line the one and the only Estelle Versace. Good morning, Estella.
Good morning. Hi, everyone.
Hey, how are you doing today, super lady?
I am blessed.
Yes.
Very, very blessed.
You are powerful.
Thank you. How are you today?
I'm good, I'm good. I think I slept early yesterday. I think I did after a whole afternoon in the fun fair with kids.
Oh, that must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, tiring, and then you have to feed them with overpriced fun fair food.
An irreplaceable memory.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's true. That's one of those ones, isn't it? Yeah. So, Estelle, I mean, you with us now. How was your weekend?
It was fantastic. To be honest, it was filled with work and planning for the year. So it was very intense, to be honest, and nothing really exciting happened.
Well, I mean, come on, don't you have like a time to kind of like chill out, like your time?
Considering I do my hobby.
Okay.
So if I have time out, it's like being in detention away from your hobby.
Okay. Captain Hugo, did you get that one? Did you get that one?
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. So doing what you love, it's a hobby, isn't it?
It's a hobby. So when you get, so for instance, say if I do go to church, this is a confession, I have to struggle to not do my hobby.
Okay.
And I have to find, because, if for instance you have a teenager and they love video games, they're going to be on the video games 24 hours.
Yeah,
and they need a little bit of structure to move away from that, as parents say.
Yeah.
But if your hobby is what brings you income, is what you enjoy, then do you really want to be? It's almost like you have an excuse to stay next to it.
Oh, wow. I'm telling you, I think everybody wants to have that insight, because a lot of people are doing stuff that they don't really enjoy, that they don't really like, and it's just, I think the consequence is that you're gonna do pretty good financially for your hobby does. Well, the hobby that you do actually brings an income to improve the quality of life and how you can serve others.
100%. I completely agree with you.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, guys. So look, let's start thinking about our hobbies. What do you like to do? Can you monetize that? That's already a golden nugget from Estella there. All right, Estella. So last week, you was touching on some powerful bars on how to create, a life of quality from where you are right now. And last week we touched on 2 points, isn't it? We didn't go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just was just throwing bars at everybody. You just like, when someone's just mad and that they're crazy and they got stones and they're just throwing stones at people because they think they're in a prison yard and they're just trying to hit everybody with stones. That's you with golden bars, like these wonderful success
One
tips.
pebble hit about 3 or 4 birds.
That's it. That's, what I mean? Receive it. Okay. And those,
it's true.
and those who caught it, they caught it, right? But can you just give us a very quick recap on the first one, which was studying people
and families with structure, who are successful.
Yeah. So the first one was studying people and families for structure who are successful. All right. If you want to recap the shows on YouTube, just go to Robust Life TV. By the way, if we already hit over 100 likes, all right, because at first we didn't really bother with the likes, but we kind of put our mind to it. So that means you'll be able to put youtube.com/Robust Life TV and you'll be able to catch up with the previous show. And number 2 was communication rules.
Communication rules is a foundation for life. Even if you're not going anywhere in life, you want this for a peaceful and better life.
Yeah, actually, and interesting that you would say that, because I was just literally watching something you posted just a while ago, Estella. I have my eye on you, lady. All right, and she said that, and it says like this: a lack of communication breeds assumptions of what the other is thinking or feeling, and assumptions are, more often than not, incorrect.
It's true.
It's so true.
It's true.
So that...
if you, in terms of communication, if a person makes a list of all the disagreements that they have with people, they'll actually be patterns and they'll fall into categories.
Wow. That's a logical way to look at it,
100%. It's self-policing, and, the more self-policing techniques we have, the more we're able to chisel ourselves and, correct and be of the person who we wish to be. A lot of the times people do not have self-policing thoughts, skills and techniques.
Wow. So so a lot of time we don't have self-policing thoughts, skills and techniques. But but there are people who say, oh, but that's kind of stuff, it's a waste of time. Like, really, you really have to do all that. But I think, go on.
It makes a difference.
It
makes a difference for yourself. And for you, for instance, if you're not a quality person, quality people are not going to want to be around you.
Oh my gosh.
You don't have that choice. Does that make sense?
So if you're not a quality person, quality people won't want to be around you. Wow.
100%. Because if if people who are, know how to communicate and communicate well and have communication rules, and they meet a person who does not have communication rules and they find it difficult to get the simplest of messages across without the person getting angry, getting defensive, calling names, you're not sticking to that topic and changing topics, they'll get frustrated and they'll say, let me go speak to someone else who I can make a connection with.
Wow. Drop it like it's hot. Okay, thank you for that, Estelle. And to be honest, even that note, like it's already done already. We finished the program. I mean, because this is such a powerful tool, key for family. Everything.
It's really deep. It's really, really deep.
Wow.
And to think that that's part of the foundation to envision a quality, a life of quality. All you have to do is, if anything is out of all these points, just fix your communication. That's it.
So, because many times I'm always looking for the new business plan or the new this, the new that. But what you're saying is it starts with communication, right? And so that means
communication.
Because everything revolves around that. When I think about it,
it's true. I want to share something with you. If you have a business and you are rubbish at communicating, you won't know what your buyers are looking for.
True.
You will try to sell them. You won't even be able to sell because selling is communication. So you try and shove them something that they're probably telling you they don't need.
Exactly.
And when you're a child, when a child has a business that nobody wants, adults will buy from that child because that child is a child. And one, because they're probably their mother, their uncle, their friend. But when a child tries to force you a lemonade juice, and you've just had about 3 pints of water just before you left the house, you buy it because of the child. But when you're an adult, people aren't necessarily that kind to you.
Absolutely. You're not so cute anymore. Right?
Exactly.
They look at you like, what do you want?
So it's 100%. Does that make sense? So communication rules, to have a good foundation of a business, you want communication rules because you're able to negotiate better deals, find out what your people actually want and provide those services.
And it's quite interesting, like, because when we think of the subject of sales and, because life is all about selling, right? We sell people on ideas, products, we sell people on our visions, all that kind of stuff. And many times, and someone who, like myself, is a presenter, sometimes we need to gauge the person that, all the time, we need to gauge the person that we're communicating with, gauge them in terms of their understanding, gauge them in terms of even sometimes their body language in what they're saying,
100%.
So that we don't kind of push things, like you said, on them or things that are of no interest, and listen as well to what they're saying from beginning all the way to the end, and I've seen
catching their communication style, their communication language, because each person has a communication language. And so the superior communicator is able to catch other people's communication language quicker than the person who does not have those communication rules and communication structures and techniques.
Okay, wow. So that's what it's called. All right. So guys, go on.
No, go on.
Yeah, so let's get good at understanding. Let's get good. It's a skill, being able to understand people's communication language. And I was speaking to a colleague just yesterday evening. We had a meeting, and they were telling me about a client that they came across, and the client was from a particular culture, and they were approaching them to organize, to see one of their presentation. And because of the culture, he's like, no, you have to speak to my wife. And they had this kind of backwards and forwards, and it felt a bit uncomfortable. But because of the communication language, it would have been a thing of, you know what, because of who they are, where they are, their status, it's still worth trying to speak to the wife and switch up the conversation a bit so we can still get a foot in there. You know what I mean? But the colleague was kind of focused on the rules, and you need to speak to the husband and the wife. Do you know what I mean? So communication, language, culture, everything, understanding this allows us to bypass a lot of stuff and overcome challenges.
It's actually very, very true. I'm glad you mentioned as well, like the different cultures as well, because different cultures have different communication styles. And they could be so different and so diversely different that we could miss things. Sometimes we could, say for instance, when parents move country and their child is then raised in that country, they will essentially have a different communication style towards the parent.
Yeah.
And the parent might not understand that their child is, communicating differently.
It's like...
Does that make sense? And the quicker they catch it, the easier they can, build those bridges.
Yeah, it's like, for example, like I'm a 1980s kid, right? And, if I dealt with my kids the way my parents dealt with me then, it won't work. It won't work.
100%.
I think like me and my family, my colleagues of this generation, we kind of had to realize that things are very different with the children now because culture, time, where we're at, it's so different. So, I mean, look, we've just literally just touched on communication, and a whole new thing has just kind of emerged from it, which we're very grateful for. And we still need to get through 3 of them, right? We still got three more tools for us to create the life that we want, a life of quality. So communications are a huge one. What's the third one, Estella?
The third one is invest in a skill each year.
Invest in a skill.
So just invest in a skill each year. You don't have to use it. You just have to invest in it. So when you invest in a skill, it's like giving yourself wings. So imagine yourself a bird without wings. When you finally, and you're walking on the floor. Now, you're very vulnerable if you're a bird and you're walking on the floor because foxes will come and eat you. Dogs will chase you and cats will catch you.
Yeah.
Everything's going to eat you. Yeah. And that's in terms of life. Without skills, we're so much more vulnerable. And the minute that you get skills, you're able to fly. And some animals on Earth, they've got, 2 wings. I think fly's got about 4 wings, isn't it? Something like that. And so the more wings that you have, the faster. And if 2 get tired, 2 of your wings get tired, you've still got the other wings.
That's true.
And so for the pandemic, when we're trying to bulletproof our life, when we're trying to make a new life, it's going to be difficult for us to make a new life if we lack skills. What are we going to make? Nothing, because we have nothing to make it with.
That's very true. And it's funny that you should say that, because now we're in a completely different environment from, say, 15, 20, 10 years ago, right? I was speaking with my colleagues just recently, and was saying how, nowadays you can open up a laptop and you can connect and sell product to the whole world. In 2001, you couldn't do that properly. 100%. Right? Not to how you can do it today. In 2005, things weren't that matured. So what's happened is there's been a huge shift. Look, right now, we can go to Tesco Express and we will pick things up from the shop and we will put it through the checkout. Right? There used to be a person there, but now guess what? We put it through the checkout ourselves. So guess what? What happened to that checkout job? It's not there anymore. So what you're saying is so true, Estella, that we can't rely on the skills of yesterday. We need to be developing new skills with time.
100%. And so, for instance, when a person is starting out, they don't have to start out big. Most of the time, people think they have to go back to school, do their A-levels and do university. But if you go on Google, there's thousands of courses, that have nothing to do with uni, which will still qualify you. You can do them in your home, or you can do them in classroom. You can build your CV, get work experience. and you started already on a completely different part of life in a year.
Wow, that's absolutely
Next
true.
year, you're just compounding from the year before.
Yeah, so true. You know, and it's funny you should say that, because I was thinking about that on my way here. You know, so you're quite scary, Estella. You're very scared. The reason why is because I'm finding out that my because I used to do a lot of video production stuff, so After Effects and stuff like that, but I've been out of it for so long that I'm kind of like having to work my way back into it. So I was thinking to myself, man, if I just took the time out to do some of those training videos, because if you got Adobe or whatever, you will have training videos, YouTube, you got training videos. If I was just to incrementally just take time just to watch a little bit of a training video every single day, it would compound on itself, you know. And this was exactly my thoughts, you know. So listeners,
100%.
listeners,
You know, I want to touch on something.
Yeah, go ahead.
On what you basically just said. You know, 15 years ago, you got paid for the job and for for going to uni. Let's say 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if you went to uni, that was good enough. Today, you get paid for how good you are.
Yeah,
you know.
It's true.
So, for instance, you could have not have gone to uni, but you've done all these courses on Adobe, and you've practiced, and you are now the best videographer ever. You know, and that's your skill.
That's your skill
you've developed. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's kind of like who's not? People are going to pay for your quality, not whether you've gone to uni and done it. Yeah. They want to know that you can do the job.
That's right. It's a new world.
It's a new world. And for that new world, we have to become a new person. We have to have a new philosophy, a new mindset, a new way of doing things. Because we can see the old ways are dying out.
Yeah, and guys, and listeners, and to be honest with you, it might sound even cruel, like the way Estella's dropping it, like, you know, no feelings attached, right? she's like, here's the cake, you need to eat it if this is what you want, right? So no feelings attached, and Anita's like amazing, and like she's really for it, and Julie and Noshifo from South Africa, but like. It's heartless. There's no feelings attached here, you know. And if we're not taking inventory of our life to say, okay, what skills do I have? You know, sometimes people think, oh, because I have a closed door and this skill that I've worked on for such a long period of time, it's all over for me. I have to drop down. I have to start again. No. This is the information era. It's the information era where, you know, before it used to be like, so have you got your diploma in XYZ? No, guess what? Nowadays, it's about quality, and everybody can access the skills that they want. What do you need? What do you want to do? Maybe you're a person who's a graphic designer, but maybe you're a doctor right now, right? But isn't it, Estelle? And like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here, especially COVID now. They're just running me to the ground, and they haven't produced that work of art. You know, because they haven't had the time to get the skills to use today's technologies to do it.
You know, I want to share something with you.
Yes.
Like, there has never been a time in history where everybody has got the opportunity to be the head and not the tail. Does that make sense? There's never been a time in history where, you know, we can actually take the verse as it is. You know, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens us.
That's true.
Because we're not relying on the old structures, on the old ways, because we're really stepping outside of our comfort zone.
Wow.
We're really stepping out beyond, you know, the little bubble that we was probably raised in, that, you know, had that averageness of everything that we did was averageness, where everybody was a doctor, or everybody was a nurse, or everybody was an engineer, or everybody was, you know, an administrator.
Yeah.
For the first time in our life, we are actually, we used to hear these verses, but then for the first time in my life, society is actually pushing us that way.
It's true.
And if we don't, then there are consequences, not just to us, but to the future generations, because they won't know what is expected of them or how to do things, because we're setting that pace.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Wow, we're the most privileged, but also we've got the most responsibility. You know,
we do.
Behind, was it with great power comes great responsibility. Spider-Man.
100%.
All right, look. So that was number 2. Invest in a skill each year, guys. This is so real. This is real. This is really happening. It has to. This is like an alarm siren going off. It's an alarm siren. It's we're in a world of opportunity, and if we're not listening to what Estelle is saying, we could, in 5 years' time, instead of being where we want to be, we could end up being where we don't want to be, and
100%.
Right, and behave like we didn't have a choice, but we do. Estelle is saying that we do. We can be the head. we can lead something. We can diversify whatever we're doing. We can diversify talents, our skills, and do what we like, because the resources are out there. Estelle, you know you're amazing, right?
You know, I have one. The next one.
Wait. We have to digest this first one. We're going to go for time out, play some lovely. I know you're just ready to fire that AK-47 of golden bullets. All right, so we're going to go for a very quick time out. Let everyone digest this, and we'll come back and we'll continue with the next two. Sound good?
Definitely. Sounds fantastic.
All right, guys, this is your breakfast show. Please, any questions for Estelle that we might give at the end? Hopefully we've got some more time, because this lady, she's just firing beer golden bullets. Put it in our live chat. We'd love to hear from you wherever you are around the world. Stay powerful, stay robust. We're going to go into some music. We'll be right back after this. All right, so super lady, so you've literally just added to us one more tip, to create the life from where we are that we desire, which was invest in a skill each year. Okay, and so we need to do an inventory on our life to see what skills we need, what skills we should acquire. I was just speaking to Hugo just before the timeout, and he was speaking about before he used to do gigs, and now he does like production stuff and music and stuff. And he says, look, we need to always be learning new things, otherwise doing the same thing can kind of take the taste out of it. You need to, isn't that right, Hugo?
Yeah, definitely.
That's actually very true. It gives a different dynamics to life.
Absolutely. All right. So tell us, Estelle, what's the fourth one?
The fourth one is one that you really don't hear many people talk about. So the ones that I mentioned so far, if you speak to motivationals or coaches or people who've changed their life or success people, they will mention the last ones that they will all tell you to study people. They'll tell you about fix up communication. They'll tell you to invest in yourself, right? But the fourth one, no one really talks about. And once again, if you do not build your life, if you do not want to build it, that's fine. If you do not want to improve communication rules, that's fine. If you do not want to invest in yourself, that's fine. But to have a life of quality, at least remove or replace one toxic person or habit per year.
Ooh, wow.
You can see how life is going to get cleaner.
Yeah. Oh, you went straight in the jugular right there, super lady. So
remove or replace
so
one toxic person or habit per year.
And when you say replace, you mean replace it with something that's good, that's healthy?
100%. Something is good. So if you have a habit and you're finding it hard to leave that habit, it might be easier if you remove that habit by replacing it with a new habit.
All right, and these things have to be intentional, isn't it? It's they won't happen by chance, right?
No, and to be easy, being really easy, all they have to do is just work on one, either a person or a habit, per year.
Okay, all right. And to be honest with you, we all have things that we need to remove. We all have some type of habit. Right now, by now, your life's probably been changed completely. But guess what? We probably learned new habits with this newness of life that we've got. That's not helping us to go to the next level. Because like Estelle said, the next level in our life, if we want a life of quality, will demand a different us, right?
Yeah.
So there may have been qualities or habits you had before from where we came from that was unacceptable then, and we are better now. But guess what? We have habits and things that we may have in our character, in our behavior. It may even be an addiction or something like that. For us, that's impeding us to go to the next level. So no one can say when they hear Estelle say something like this that it doesn't include them.
100%. It includes everybody because, as children, we learn from our parents. And it's, when we think of learning from our parents, we always put it in the light of learning great things. We never talk about learning terrible things.
Yeah.
Learning terrible time management, money skills, relationship skills, communication skills. Like you can really learn a bad life sometimes from your parents.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Bad eating habits. So by the time, if you've already started with all this terrible learning from your parents, if you started with good learning, that's great. But when you're a teenager and you start life, you're experimenting life and living life by yourself for the first time when you're making your own decisions.
That's right, yeah.
So now you've picked up habits and people that might not necessarily be beneficial to you. And you all heard your children say, oh, we're going to be friends forever. And you're thinking, really? That's going to die down. Trust me, you are not going to be friends forever. I tell you what, I'll give you 9 years. 9 years to let's see if you're still, you and your group of 7 friends are still together.
Exactly. Actually, I have one friend actually that I took from all the way from nursery.
We all do. We have that one person that we bring along with us. But in generally, we don't carry our whole school friends with us.
We don't. It just is what it is.
It is because we individually we're growing, and if we didn't grow, if none of us grew, then we would all be there 9 years later, all in that little group, and that wouldn't be a very good circle either.
That's true. That's true.
And so it's like. And sometimes we might have, and when we think of a toxic person, sometimes we're not really analyzing. We might think, a toxic person might be somebody with a bad habit. But it might be just somebody who's just, a bit like a dead weight. Who just,
It's like a suitcase with stones.
They're not necessarily bad, but they're not great either. It's not like they're taking you anywhere. They're not inspiring. They're not pushing you forward. Wow. They're not, sometimes people... They don't need to, speak to you to tell you to move forward. Sometimes their moving forward is an inspiration for you already.
That's true.
So, for instance, if you have a person who's just generally just a dead weight in your life, removing that person or replacing that person will change your life for that year, and it will be challenging. And what will happen is it will hurt your mind, because just the same way when crackheads, let's say somebody who's on drugs, leaves drugs, and that transition period of cold turkey is challenging. We all go through the same processes of leaving a habit. A habit is like a form of an addiction. And if we can go through that process, because that takes a lot of mental discipline, the next time will be easier. And the next time it will be easier. And by the third year, you're removing 3 or 4 things in that 1 year.
Wow, it's true. So that one win, it causes a knock-on effect for us to have to seek and produce more wins, right?
100%.
So it's like, this is actually really good for me. So, okay, why can't I do that as well? Let me do this as well. Let me get this out of the way as well. So we start that momentum, isn't it, of change.
That's it. And it's one of the hardest things, because you see, when you look at, one of the people I've really admired the most is ex-drug addicts. Because once they've passed that stage, if you notice, on average, the harder they went, the more disciplined they become. It's like they have a pure and clean life. And I've been looking at them for over 15 years, just studying them. I see them everywhere. And it's like, I used to be like this, now I'm doing this. And they're doing amazing. They have a really self-disciplined and structured life because they needed that to get rid of that. And once they got rid of that one habit, they quickly cleaned up the rest of their life.
Oh my gosh, it's true. I see Hugo nodding there like, yeah, it's true.
It's so deep, but they are the people of, they are the they're like one of the strongest mental discipline people around us. It's them.
All right, super lady. Without further ado, what's number 5?
Write a life plan. If you want a life of quality, you've got to write a life plan. You have to make a plan for your life. Where are you going? What does quality look like? What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you want? Does that make sense? Because if you just don't know, if you do not define quality is anything.
That's
You know,
true.
quality could be, you know, I'm going to go to a quality local pub.
Yeah.
It's probably not even the best because you haven't defined quality.
Mm.
That's it, you know. So define it, you know, what is, you know, make a vision board, you know, look at people who you know, who seem to have what it is that you want. Put that in your vision board, get some pictures, cut it out. I know this is child's work at school, but however, this makes a physical difference in your brain. It's telling your brain that you want this. Does that make sense? And then eventually, you know, those desires will go inside of you and your mind will work towards it.
That's true. Oh
God
my
made our
gosh.
brains very beautiful. If
Yeah.
you want A's, look at all the people who've had A's, look at them, study them, and eventually you'll get there.
It's true. You know, it's like if you think about the education system, yeah, everyone heard this mantra that you need to go to school, do whatever, do a grade, and get a job. That was the mantra for a particular time period, right? We all grew up through that, and because that was the mantra, guess what people do? They just focus on getting through school, focus on dinner, because that's it. And then when they get the job, then it's like, what do I do now, right?
100%. And life is dull.
Life is dull, and unless they're doing what they want and what they love, right? But
100%.
but like, they don't write a life plan. They don't write beyond what the mantra was given, you know. And if every listener who's listening right now thinks about it, every single thing that they really put down in a goal that they devoted themselves to, every single thing, or just about almost single thing, that you'll find that you have it. You will find that everything, whether it was something that was impossible for you, and you know, but you set it in stone, like, no, this is what I want. You have it. You have it in your hands. It's in your life. It's materialized, you know. But you did it without being told to do it. You just did it because that's what you desired and you wanted it, and you put it down. Isn't it right, Estella?
100%. Yep. That's it. How many minutes we got left?
Well, we've got 8 minutes of the show left.
I want to share something with you, right?
Oh, share away, super lady.
And so this is the story of a billionaire who had 3 directors. And we can say directors? Yeah, we can say directors.
Yep.
And to each director, he gave them according to their ability. One director, he gave 1 million. Another director, he gave 500 million. Another one, he gave about 10 billion. And he gave them each according to their ability, right? And then he said, at the end of the year, I want you obviously, because you're the directors, I want you to steward my stuff, and then I'm going to come back and do the accounts with you. You know, the year passed. The last 2 doubled their money, and the one that got 1 million, well, he said he only got 1 million, but the director gave, the CEO, billionaire, he gave him that 1 million according to his ability, right? So he gave him that 1 million according to his ability, and he never really multiplied it. What he did, he didn't even put it in the bank for interest. He got the money. Old school, what they used to do is they used to bury their treasure. That's how, you get the maps with the X's. He buried all that money, 1 million, so that it wouldn't be lost. And that's what he presented with the guy. And then, his mindset was so, and you would think, obviously this is like a cinnamon of the story in the Bible, but you would think that, in that story in the Bible, that God obviously represents that billionaire, right?
Yeah, the CEO, yeah.
100%. And so you would think that God would be all fair and square, like today. He would go, oh, it's all about equal rights. You should give everybody equal and everything like this. You'd think that he would go on like that, but he didn't. That guy with the 1 million, he started throwing these bars. Oh, you never gave me 500 million. If I had that, I would have been able to multiply as well. Had you given me 10 billion, I would have been able to multiply. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But he was like, you're not, you got to remember I gave you according to your ability.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So according to your ability, what did you do? And sometimes we think that we need a lot to create a lot, and we're not looking at that one tiny thing that we have. And we're having a stinking mindset that's not really going to take us anywhere.
That's true.
Where we're looking at the other people and we're not working with what we have because, and usually, we think, those that have less, we should focus more. But no, it's about the individual. The individual has to say, okay, I may have less, but this is according to what I can do. This is what I can manage at this time. If I grow these skills and if I, apply, try and multiply this 1 million or this one skill, I will be able to get more.
Absolutely. Wow.
And so there aren't no excuses, not even in the Bible.
Wow, it's true. Because like everyone's like, oh, God is fair, God is love, God understands. But what we're seeing from there is God understands. God understands that you did nothing.
That's it.
Oh man.
And everybody gave accounts, but the only person who was told off was the one that had the least. And you never hear that preached. You always hear the one that has the least is the best, the one that has the least is this, or the one that's poor is this, is great, it's great. But you never hear the one that had the least got thrown out.
Yeah, it
because
just is what it is.
Mindset.
Yeah. So right now, and this is something that you're kind of sharing with us inadvertently. You've literally given us 5 tools, right, to create a life of quality. Okay. Now I'm gonna recap on them. The first one is study people skilled, or families, people who are skilled, who and copy them. Copy the things that they're doing that you can do yourself to see the results that they have. Two was communication rules. You gotta have communication rules. 3 was invest in the skill each year to help bulletproof your life. The 4th one was remove or replace toxic people, 1 per year. All right, and then 5, write a life plan. Now, you see, these are simple tools that have been given to us. They don't even cost money to do. Right? This goes for me. This goes for every listener. These are simple tools, but yet with these tools, tomorrow, an individual listening can complain. They complain they don't have this, they don't have that. This person has something else. It's looking at the person's grass on the other side. But what Estelle is telling us, look, even with these simple tools, guess what? Work with it. Besides the things that we already have in our lives that we can work with, whether we have more, whether we have less. Start from where we are right now with what we have. God is going to speak to us according to our ability, right now where we are, to work and develop what we have. If we discourage ourselves looking at X, Y, Z or other people or making excuses, not even God is going to bide out, let alone life itself, the way it's been orchestrated. So this is very important. Wow.
That's deep. You summarized it very deep. You shocked me, man. You've thrown golden nuggets out here now.
Yeah,
that was summary.
Yeah, I hate it. I head it over to you.
that was deep. That was deep.
Yeah, but that's what you're telling us, essentially. That's what you're telling us. So we are really responsible for the quality. That's what everyone's listening to find out how, from where they are, to achieve a life of quality, right? You've kind of told us, look, it's in our hands. Yeah, that's it. Well, Estelle, you've been absolutely amazing, super lady.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, whenever you come on, you do not disappoint.
It's been fantastic coming back. Thank you for the viewers. Your comments have been amazing. The questions have been amazing.
Yes.
It's been great, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely, because I said I will hire you out for 3 Tuesdays, isn't it?
You did. You did.
All right, so that means we're gonna get something really fresh from Estelle for next week Tuesday. Okay, she has a crazy busy schedule, but she loves doing what she does anyway. This is just how she rolls. And obviously there are people that want to get in touch with you. Do you have an email, website that people can connect with you?
Get in touch with Master Wealth, because at the end of the day, sometimes I put communication rules. You've been there today as well. You checked out the communication one. You have self-policing is very important. And a lot of the times, a lot of people don't know this, but sometimes I do put Bible stories in there, but I change the words where it's applicable to today. And so the point is still gotten across, because like the story of the billionaire, which obviously represents God, where God is saying he's going to hold us accountable to ourselves. So get in touch there. You're able to ask questions. You're able to if you are looking on something, it's a platform where people that are on there are also building something for themselves.
Brilliant.
You know.
Brilliant.
And when we do have events, I'm not quite sure how it's going to be with the event this year because of COVID. But if we do have the event, come out to the event today and just meet people. Just meet.
Absolutely.
There's nothing better than being surrounded by, good apples.
That's
you
the
know?
spirit. Wow, fantastic.
That's it.
You're being absolutely amazing. Look, guys, check out Master Wealth on Facebook. So facebook.com/Master Wealth. Literally, you're going to see
Master Wealth Network.
Master Wealth Network. Sorry, my mistake. All right. So Master Wealth Network, guys, make sure you check that out because Estella's always putting some beautiful bars in there. And I love sharing her stuff because it's really, really insightful and it just adds. All right. So Estella, once again, thank you so much for joining us today. All right.
Thank you for having me once again.
Yep, and we'll look forward to hearing more from you next week, Tuesday. So those of you who tuned in late, you have a chance to recompense yourself. So make sure next Tuesday you are here on time. Okay, and thank you as well, Hugo, for being an excellent man of sound.
Pleasure always.
You are wonderful. All right, and I want to thank you as well, dear listeners, for being with us today. Just a quick reminder that tomorrow we're going to have the dynamic duo of health, wellness, and success, Ronald and Patrina, coming in, where we're going to continue the book review on our new study, which is Bulletproof Dating, which are dropping some heavy bars there, guys, for you to really protect your life. All right, and it also adds to those who are married already. Also, we're going to be having the extensive wellness section from Ronald, where he's going to show us how to cultivate, the natural earth and the benefits of things that we can sow, that we can grow in our house, in our windowsill, and the benefits that they can bring to our health and to our body, and ways to prepare those types of dishes and foods. It's just on tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. So let's just go and have a powerful Tuesday. And if you want to catch up with the shows, don't forget YouTube and just search Robust Life TV.